Happy Friday afternoon. Thank you for tuning in for this very special episode of Fermented Friday with the Brewers Association of Maryland. I'm Jim. I'm your weekly host here. I hope that you enjoyed today's conversation, and we're really looking forward to hosting our guests and having a great chat. Before we get started, I do want to very briefly state that the Brewers Association of Maryland is seeing everything that's happening in the industry of craft beer right now with regard to misconduct. And we, as an association and on behalf of the board, do not condone any of this behavior. In fact, we strongly condemn all of this behavior. What is happening right now at the Brewers Association of Maryland is that our organization is working with its board to develop more resources and a very specific list of items that we will be unveiling to the public to address these issues. So please be patient. I know we've been kind of quiet about this over the last few days. We want to ensure that anything that we put out is in line with the spirit of making this industry safe and inclusive to every single person who is involved in it. So we appreciate the support that our followers have been showing to the women in this industry and to anybody who's been marginalized by behavior like this. And we just want you to know that we are actively working internally and with our peers in the industry to find a way to make sure that this doesn't happen in our house. So thank you all very much. Now that we've gotten that short intro out of the way, I would like to say that this afternoon's talk is going to be very positive. It's going to be fun. We are thrilled to be in a partnership with DelFest, and we have Mr. McCoury himself with us this afternoon. Del, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, Jim. How you doing?
I could not be better. Today is a dream come true, so I'm really excited to chat with you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah, we could talk to the folks.
That's great. And I'm also going to bring in Chris Harris of Rainmaker Music Management. Chris, how you doing this afternoon?
Oh, doing good. Enjoying a lovely Friday afternoon.
And we thought that Del was the one who was dropping in, but we may have Rob dropping in now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. And just to kind of give this a little bit of preface before we get into asking questions of you all, back in 2018, we were approached by Barb from your group who helps kind of get everything arranged in Allegheny County. She approached my coworker, Abby, and Abby and I, as big fans of DelFest, were kind of asked to be the ambassadors of this new relationship. So we worked hard to put something fun together for your guests there in Allegheny County in 2019. So prior to your sound check on Thursday, Del, we invited all your friends in. We had them taste some Maryland beer, taste some food, and it's kind of offered spring to a new relationship between craft beer and DelFest. So we'd like to thank you very much for that.
Well, that's great. Looking forward to that. I'll tell you, I am.
And now for 2021, it seems like we've got some really great plans in the works. And before we start getting into the details of that, I know you guys have a big thing happening next weekend, and that's really why we have you on.
Yes, we do. We're going to be busy next weekend.
So let's just start off by kind of talking a little bit about how everything during the pandemic has changed how this industry has been working for you, how making music and performing music for people that love to be there and celebrate with you. How's this all changed?
Boy, it changed for me and a lot of the bands, I guess. I tell you what, I'm a member of the Grand Ole Opry here in Nashville, and the last date we played last year was March the 9th. In 2020, and so we really, everything kind of shut down then for promoters and musicians and bands and you name it, and but we did play a few dates where they had pods, outside where they could seat 4 people in a pod, and keep everybody separated. We did a few of those last fall. It gave people a little time to readjust, the lot of the establishments, give them a little time to readjust. And I'll tell you, one example that did this really quick was we got a place here in Tennessee called The Cave, and we go in the cave and play, and it's big, boy, and it's down in just south of town here, about 100 Mile, I guess, something like that. And anyway, they decided, well, we can't do anything in the cave because everybody's going to be too close together. So they just took a bulldozer and bulldozed a whole bunch of trees and buildings and everything down and made a place outside. And so we played there. We didn't get to play last fall, but we did get to play this spring already, you know. So
and luckily, the cave was great, but also, found a new home at some of these breweries that realized, hey, we have a big green space, and like B Chord there in Virginia, and Locust Post's been doing a couple shows, and so I think that's been great for these breweries to realize, that there's some of them can have more music prominence, and it's been fun and great places to play. So it's kind of cool that how it's all kind of coming together with the breweries and the festival and the music, because it's such a perfect fit.
Yeah, Chris, go ahead, Del.
We got to play B Chord just before it got too cold last fall,
Well, and you're making a return right as the weather turns beautiful again.
Yeah, same place. That's right.
So we had been chatting a little bit with Chris and Stan over the last couple of weeks and learning kind of how this almost this pivot to an older style of presenting music to smaller crowds and more intimate venues has really been paying off for artists like yourself, because you get that real great feedback. You're in a place where it seems like everybody's getting something out of it. I'm wondering if that's exciting to you, to kind of have that feel of being in a more close setting with fewer people around.
In a way it is. I'll tell you what, Jim, when this all came about, I told Stan, I said, you know what? Years ago, I used to play in drive-in theaters, and the band would get on top of the refreshment stand on the roof, and people would sit in their cars in between movies, and they sit in their cars, and when you play a song they blow their horn because they had speakers inside the window. And I said, why don't we do that? Well, somebody told our idea before we could even try it.
Well, I have to say, as somebody who's attended a few of those drive-in concerts, I wish I was around when you were doing them.
We did a lot of them years ago. It was a natural thing to do because the people were already there. The drive-in establishment, figure, well, the drive-in's already here. Why don't we, during intermission, we'll just put a live band up on top of the refreshment stand and keep the music or keep the entertainment going, So this is what we did a lot. Yeah.
What a great idea.
Of course, a lot of the drive-in theaters are gone now too.
Yeah. They're kind of, I think the people who closed those things a couple of decades ago are all kind of kicking themselves right now.
I think so.
Chris, what benefits are you seeing as you are working to bring live music to people? What benefits are you seeing with this kind of new model where you have the opportunities to make venues out of places that haven't been before, or turn places like breweries into places that can host great intimate engagements?
Well, there's a couple of things that excite us. One is, as the industry's changed over the last 20 years or so, it's definitely gotten more expensive to put on events. Fees have gotten out of whack. Venues have gotten a little, it's gotten a little different. On used to, you go play a club, the venue keeps the alcohol sales, the artist kept most of the money, and that's all changed with a lot of these places, and it gets really expensive. So with having a lot of these alternative venues, especially the breweries where the expenses are cheap and they're making money off selling beer, you can kind of get back to that 60s and 70s model of, the artist keeps most of the ticket sales, the venue keeps most of the, the beer money, and everybody's happy. And so I think it allows you to be a little more creative, keep some of the prices down. And most importantly, like, again, just using B Chord as a reference, people love it. I mean, it's almost a festival feel at these shows where you can sit out in your chairs on the grass, and this crowd, there's such a perfect demographic overlay between the craft beer fans and the bluegrass and jamgrass fans. They love it. They'd rather be sitting in a lawn chair on a beautiful day having a beer and listening to music than in a stuffy theater. So it's really brought a new energy and excitement to our genre.
That's a really great transition. So I'm going to be honest with you. Last night, after I found out that Del was joining us, I started rethinking some of these things I wanted to talk about, because there are parallels in the craft beer industry and the music industry that many people may not consider when they're kind of thinking about, when you look at it on the surface, you don't think there's too much in common. But then when you take a step back and you start to think about it, you realize that some innovation in a genre, some new things that are happening to kind of push the world along. And we're talking about, beer is a beverage that's been around for thousands of years. And now we have people making new spins on it and bringing new iterations and new feel to it. So it's encouraging that there's always that opportunity for kind of some fresh breath in what's going on. And looks like Mr. Rob McCoury is here as well. Rob, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good, man. Sorry I was out doing some errands. I let time slip away from me.
Hey, that happens. You got here with plenty of time left to chat.
We told him we shouldn't have shipped you an early case of that DelFest Lite beer.
So let's talk about DelFest Lite. That's a good transition to what's going on in the immediate future. We just sent out an email to our newsletter list that includes a list of 12 breweries here in Maryland that are going to be sharing DelFest Lite next weekend on their live streams in tasting rooms. What is DelFest Lite, and why is this something that everybody should be so excited about?
Ooh, now I guess I'd have to let Rob.
Well, I'll jump in and then let Rob add to it. But basically, with DelFest is normally Memorial Day weekend, and last year we did a DelFest at home where we restreamed a lot of the past shows from DelFest, and people were really excited to do that because they wanted to keep their DelFest tradition alive, even though we couldn't be together in person. And this year, thanks to B Chord popping up and being so perfect, we're kind of doing a mini DelFest for 3 days over in Virginia. And, and we're going to have a lot of acts that are going to be on DelFest. And so with it, we're calling it DelFest Lite, and we're going to be streaming it on socials and at a lot of the breweries around Maryland. And, going to show them the music. And they even made a special beer called DelFest Lite that's going to and available over there. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to be fun. It's a little weird for all of us, as normally right now we're at DelFest. We're leaving today to get there. And so it's a little weird, but it is nice that we have an alternative, and we hope the fans feel the same way, getting to join us, online or going to these local breweries and watching it and having a good afternoon sitting there hanging out.
We have a great list of breweries that are going to be participating next week with streams. So I'll go ahead and list those right now real quick. And then these will be available on BAM's social media, and I'm sure DelFest will be sharing some of this as well. But 1812 Brewery in Cumberland, BC Brewery up in northern Baltimore County. We've got Locust Post out there in Allegheny County near you guys. Lone Oak Farm in Montgomery County, Monocacy Brewing Company in Frederick, Monument City in Baltimore County, Old Mother in Frederick, Firm in Gambrels. We've got Rockwell in Frederick, Smoketown in Frederick, and Union in Baltimore. So we've got a lot of really great and exciting venues that are going to be sharing all the wonderful music of Del and his friends throughout next weekend. So thank you very much for making that available to them and extending that as part of what we're doing together. This is really great.
Sounds great. Sure does.
And Jim, let me add, we're also going to have some fun with it. And at those breweries, there's going to be a way to register for posters, tickets, stuff like that. So multiple reasons to go and hang out with your friends and watch the music and have a cold one.
That's it. Aside from just being there to drink great beer, now you get to listen to some wonderful music as well.
Yeah.
So can we talk a little bit about DelFest? 2020 was going to be the 13th celebration, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are celebrating the 13th this year. We're just moving it a few months later.
No, you're wrong about that. DelFest at home was 13.
Oh, perfect.
14.
Perfect. I love it. All right.
We're going to skip it.
I love continuity. You guys have thought about everything.
Yeah,
Can I ask what kind of brought DelFest to Allegheny County and to Maryland? How did we luck out as Marylanders to be able to host such a wonderful event?
maybe I could tell.
Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. Well, Stan asked me one time, said, have you ever thought about a festival? And I said, yeah, I have. Because I've played a lot of them, played the Bill Monroe Festival up there in Indiana. And I actually played the first bluegrass festival there was in a place called Fincastle, Virginia, and which later moved up to Berryville, Virginia. Anyway, I said, yeah, look, I'm a promoter that they already have a festival out in northern California. And of course, we'd played it before, so we called Roy. Stan told him, he said, look, check the East Coast for us to find a location. Have one, and maybe you could. So anyway, Roy, he had some a whole bunch of places lined up to look at. So to Baltimore, and we was going to look at all these venues. And the first one, the fairgrounds there in Allegheny County Fairgrounds. And I told Stan, I said, you know what? I've played a lot of festivals, and this is as good a location, a site, as any I've ever played in my life. It's got the river. It's got a beautiful river that goes around the fairgrounds, and you look across the river, and it is a rock cliff, straight up, man, and that's West Virginia, naturally, and so it's a thing. But the site where the festival is, or the fairground is, all level, it's all flat, so it's a perfect spot, and that's the reason. So we didn't look any further. We didn't go anywhere else. We didn't look at any of the.
So all it took was a beautiful vista and a great place to hang out, huh?
Yeah, I figured, well, I'm going to look at the place. The site is what you need, the beautiful site, because that's need people, and they'll enjoy the site too.
And Rob, what were your thoughts when you came and visited?
Oh, the first time he came? I don't know when you.
Well, yeah.
Oh, he's having.
I actually didn't see it until we showed up to start to get the festival set up.
Oh, that was yeah.
I was kind of like that. I was like, man, it's a nice place. Beautiful place, and why not? Like Dad said, we played obviously him longer than me, but we played a lot of festivals, and I don't know. There's not too many prettier than up there in Allegheny County. That's a beautiful place. And for the fans who are coming in there and camping out, some of them are in there camping out. If they do the academy and everything, they're there for about, I don't know, 8 or 9 days or something.
Yeah, it's over a week.
It's nice for them to have something pretty to look at for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Well, Jim, it's interesting to me because it does, kind of random, it was a beautiful place, but we knew nothing about the people. And so then over 13, 14 years now, to have really gotten to know the people, and we have so many great friends up there. It's like this was meant to be. We're so happy of what we've been able to do in that community, the money we've been able to give back, and just kind of, we kind of feel like we've had a role in changing the culture a little bit because, those people, they had a new sense of, gratefulness for their hometown. And now there's been three local breweries popped up, and they all are featuring bluegrass music and stuff. So it's just kind of nice how it's all fitting together, and it's a lot of fun. And we're really glad Del liked that location because it's worked out really well.
Well, I was going to use Rob's comments about having the academy there and kind of it becoming a home to people for an extended week, essentially, as a gateway to chat about how you all have really cultivated what seems like an extended family with the people in Cumberland. It seems as though you have a very supportive community there that appreciates everything that you bring to their town and to their county. Aside from that, you have all made a huge effort to shine a light on what's going on in Cumberland. So can you guys talk a little bit about what you all have done locally in the area? You're there throughout the year supporting different events. You have the Dell Foundation. What's going on with all that stuff, and how does that stuff impact the community that you're trying to cultivate there?
What do you think, Chris?
Rob, you want to talk about this? Or Rob's a little frozen on us there. Oh, there he is.
Is he?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys hear it or not, but it's something's going on with the audio on my end. It's broken. It's hard to understand everything sometimes, but now it seems like it's better.
Yeah,
I think quit.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's still there.
There's back
Let me.
again.
I've got two different Wi-Fi's here. I might be tied into the wrong Wi-Fi.
all right.
Maybe that would make
Well,
sense.
I'm talking about this. If you want to, yeah, you're a little soft, and we can hear the crinkling. So if you want to try logging back in the meantime, I'll take this next question, and we'll hopefully get you back in a minute.
Yeah,
let
me.
Hey, that'll work. All right. Well, Jim, talking about that with DelFest, like I said, it's once we got to know the people in that town, we realized early on too that that town had some real problems, and that they had needs, and the DelFest Foundation has been such a great thing to be able to do, and again, that revenue, it comes from the beer sales mostly and donations. So again, another tie-in of how it's helping to give back to the community. And to this point, it's well over $500,000 that's stayed local to help local charities. And so it's been a real impact. It's very emotional when you go up there and go to some of these disbursements of these payments, because these people tell you how it's met the needs of their, the community. And in fact, we were able to buy a van for the local food bank when they didn't have a way to deliver food. And it's kind of cool. On the side of the van, it says DelFest, good works through music. And so, it is. You talked about the friendships and stuff. And it's kind of funny, me living in a big town down here in Tampa where I hardly know anybody. And, go to Cumberland, it's such a small town feel. I go to the local restaurant, I know 18 people. It's just, it feels like we're part of the town. They've accepted us, and they know we want to, there's been some ups and downs, but now they know we want to be good friends, neighbors, and partners in that town. And, we're just real excited about it. And we're real excited again about the growth. There's a new excitement in that town, and there's new art springing up, new breweries, and they're on their way to being a force in the mountains. People are realizing what a little gem they have there.
There is no doubt about that. And I think a lot of people have DelFest to thank for coming out there and experiencing what a wonderful location it truly is.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. As more and more people get exposed to what's happening there and learn about what a great community it is, you're going to see more things like 1812, Dig Deep, Locust Post come to support that interest in creativity and innovation, and just support the lifestyle of people coming in and enjoying the most that they can out of the city that's hosting them. I'm curious to Del and Rob, the philanthropy angle, is that something that has always kind of inspired you as artists? Was there always a thought in your mind about how you could give back?
Yeah, we always wanted to give back to the community. In the beginning, when we played there the first time, we had some meetings. When you go to a place, a new like that, and a lot of the people in the community, they think, well, they'll have their festival here, and then they figure, well, they'll make some money and then they'll move on. They won't be back here again, but I told them at this meeting, I said, we like it here, and we want to help the community. We don't want to take away from it. We don't want to be here 1 year and then leave. We want to stay here, and so it gave them. I think it gave them a little bit of confidence in us. That we were going to be there. For every year, and also give back to the community, like the food bank and a lot of other things. What we could do. I don't know what all we gave back, but we did the best we could, and still do, and can give back more now than we could even then. Because in the beginning, when we were starting out, of course, there weren't as many people coming as there are now. Although I was surprised that the first year we did really great, and I think they were looking. The community was looking for something like that for entertainment. They were kind of down the community of Cumberland, because at one time it was such a booming town. From what I understand, they had it was a central location, like railroads going in and out of there. But then when trucking started up, now this is a long time ago, they said that's when the town started going down. So I think we've helped to bring it back some.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can make an argument that you hadn't. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, as your festival has evolved, it seems like some of the guests that are invited to come perform with you have strayed a little bit from the genre that you have really helped make so popular in the American lifestyle.
Yeah.
How has that been? If I understand correctly, you have a say in every guest that is invited to DelFest, correct?
Well, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. I think they know who's going to be there.
So how fun is it for you to be able to bring people in who don't quite line up with what's considered traditional bluegrass, but can really help to support that feeling and that great emotion throughout the weekend?
Well, I tell you, Jim, I know a lot of the bands that we booked there, but of course, Roy Carter, actually, our partner, he's the one that's responsible for booking them there, along with the booking agent. And anyway, but we have played with a lot of the jam bands. We've played a lot of shows with them, through the years out in Colorado and just everywhere, and so we got to know a lot of those bands, and so therefore we'll book them on the festival, because we know that people will like them, and we try to keep acts that are popular, and but Jim, you got to have variety in music too, and so that's why we decided, well, we won't just have all bluegrass, we'll have mainly jam bands, for the young. A lot of the young people like the jam bands, and so we figured we needed a variety, and we really have a variety of different sounds there,
You truly do, and I think as a fan of live music, you have set an exceptionally high bar for the experience that I think most fans of music are looking for. So I would like to congratulate you on that, coming from my humble opinion about how to operate a music festival. So good work.
Thanks, Jim.
And like Hal said, there is a personal connection to most of these bands, which leads to a lot of collaborating, which is really what makes it special, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
there you're never going to see anywhere else.
Hey, in fact, I had to go to my chiropractor this morning, and on the way, I heard the DJ on Sirius satellite radio. He was playing. He played this song, and he said, "I've got a request for the string cheese incident." And he don't play too much of that music, but when it came on, he said, "Now this was recorded at DelFest." And so they started singing it. I was singing with them. I sang the verses to start the song out. So
that's fun.
Yeah, they were on there. They were on the it's mainly bluegrass music on that. It's called, what's it? Bluegrass.
Bluegrass Junction.
What is it?
Bluegrass Junction.
Yes, that's the name. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to share a personal story with you real quick, Del. My wife and I actually got married in Colorado when String Cheese came back in 2010. We went to Red Rocks and saw the 3-night run, and then we got married in Vail the next night.
Oh, really?
So,
are then, yeah.
and your festival holds some very special places in my heart too, but I'm not going to talk about those on this call.
Well, they booked us on a show one time when they were first starting out, that band, and that's when we got acquainted with them, and I think it was in Vail. They were playing in Vail, and they wanted us to come out there and play with them. And the same with the, oh gosh, what's a Ham and I can't remember names of bands anymore. They're too.
Seems like they're all named after food or animals now, huh?
It's partly Ham. What is it? The rest of it, Rob?
Ham.
Yeah, Ham's in their name, I think. Well,
Leftover salmon.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ham. That's it. Leftover salmon.
Mm-hmm.
We knew those guys before we knew the String Cheese Incident band. We played a lot of shows with them. We toured with them for I don't know how long. And of course, we have them at our festival too. And
yeah,
and there's a variety of bands there. Really are.
Well, the reason I brought that up, and Chris kind of alluded to it perfectly when he mentioned the word collaboration, was that one of the goals that we have for DelFest 2021 is to bring some collaboration of brewers and artists together. And we're hoping to see a project that's going to look really great and help to showcase how collaboration works, because in the beer industry, there's a lot of that happening right now. There are a lot of breweries who are working together to share their ideas and their concepts for developing new products and releasing them and kind of building that momentum from both sides. And we talk about them a lot on our call, but I wanted to ask you and Rob how collaborating with artists, or even just sitting in with an artist right away and having to improvise on the spot, how that helps you grow as an artist and build the things that you're trying to create.
Well, for one thing, it's a kind of an unrehearsed. I'll tell you, I'll jump in on it, Rob. For one thing, it's kind of an unrehearsed thing, and nobody knows what's happening next, So it makes it exciting for the musicians, and it also makes it exciting for the bands because, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen. You haven't rehearsed any of this stuff, So it's, in a way, it's kind of like a one-time thing, so people are looking forward to that,
I used to work for a brewer here in the state of Maryland who had a background in music, and he would always talk about the beers that he was creating. He said, I decided one thing. I was either going to be a professional musician or a professional brewer, and I knew I would never be a professional musician. So that worked out well for him. But he said that every time he approached brewing a beer, he approached it like performing live music, because he knew that there would be small differences in every beer that he'd be able to pick up on as the one creating it, that maybe the audience wouldn't, but he'd know that they were there, and it made him feel like every one of these experiences with beer is something that's just there for a moment, and then you've experienced it, and then you have to wait till the next time, and maybe it'll be something similar. So I love hearing stuff like that, and I love hearing, just like you're saying, the spontaneity that comes into it is exciting.
I've got to tell a funny story. At the second DelFest, we had the Lee Boys on, and that was one of the few bands that were on that the McCourys didn't know personally, but we had them on there, and they wanted Ronnie to get up and play, and they're a big Sacred Steel gospel loud band, and they asked Ronnie to get up and play. He literally met them on stage the first time ever, and just went out there and started playing with them. And after that, they became friends, made a record together, toured together, and it all started from that meeting on stage at DelFest.
Yeah. Travelin, McCourys, and Lee Boys, they did a record together. Now, they wouldn't let me play on that. Didn't.
I would love to get some more input from Rob. I'm sorry, I've got him muted right now because his phone's got a little bit of feedback on it. So maybe we'll have to book Rob for another date sometime and get all of his input to all these questions. I'll just replay the interview. So, Chris and Del, why don't you tell us kind of what do you want to talk about what the full program next week for DelFest Lite kind of looks like, and then we can wrap up with what the plans for DelFest 2021 are?
Well, next week there's several fun things going on. Thursday night, which is normally the first night of DelFest, there's sort of a kickoff party at 1812 Brewery. It's going to be the Gibson Brothers and Dre Anders, and I think anyway, that's going to be, I know we're going to have a lot of friends there hanging out at 1812 and kind of starting that weekend, what would normally be DelFest. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is going to be at B Chord. The Del McCoury band's playing Friday night, Travelin McCoury Sunday night, Seldom Seen, Frank Sullivan, others playing Saturday. And then on Monday, Ronnie kind of got the ball rolling on this when we were talking about doing this weekend. He said, we can't go that close to Cumberland and not do something in town. So we got together with the city and right downtown behind Canal Place Monday afternoon. I think it starts at 2 o'clock. It's going to be the Del McCoury Band and Coldbrook Road. They're going to do a free show, and they're going to have beer out there. And I think they've actually got Canal Place has you can walk. You mentioned Dig Deep earlier. You can walk to Dig Deep Brewery, get a beer, come back and watch the show. So it's going to be a fun way to kind of have a DelFest weekend here without DelFest and hold us all over till September.
And what's in store for September?
Bluegrass and beer.
Hey, I like that. Is the festival going to look much different to anybody who's attending in a fall setting versus what they've experienced in the past in late spring?
No, I don't think so. Right now, obviously, everything's still evolving, but things are looking better. We're going to make some final decisions in probably late July, early August of anything we have to change about the event, but hopefully, hopefully everything looks fairly normal and we've got a good lineup, and we're planning on expanding a few things that that some of the things you and I have talked about. Looking forward to announcing that, and I think we'll have a lot of fun things in store for people, and I think it's going to be a really special DelFest because even we can get in a rut with it because we've done so many of them, and I don't think any of us are going to take it for granted this year, and we're going to soak up every minute of it. So I hope it's a real fun, emotional, enjoyable weekend for everybody.
Well, just watching some of the appreciation of your fans on places like Deltopia on Facebook and stuff, I have a feeling that there are plenty of people who are looking forward to the great emotions. Coming to DelFest this year.
Too. Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Rob, I'm sorry we haven't got to hear from you much.
Still.
Oh, that's okay. These guys are doing great.
You're just there to be the eye candy. I get it.
But yeah, I think I think it will be a special DelFest, because of missing a year and, everybody not only missing the festival and the music, but each other, I think it's going to be like you said, I think it's going to be a very emotional DelFest, I think kind of like a family reunion that you had to miss last year, so you haven't seen your family in 2 years,
Yeah, right.
So, we're looking forward to it. Can't wait. It is odd. We should be there now. But we're not.
Rob's wife, she runs the.
We've got.
Okay.
I think we lost Rob.
We might have lost Rob, but I was going to say Rob's wife, she runs the academy there every year, and man, all these musicians, they sign up a year ahead of time to learn banjo, fiddle, mandolin, guitar, bass, dobro, you name it, and that's a great thing too. That's really it surprised me that academy did.
Well, there's quite a few bands have come forth out of it, and
Yeah.
lots of playing. But that's why Rob would be getting up there today, so we get ready for the academy to kick off this weekend. So yeah, it is kind of a weird weekend, but very glad to be heading up there next weekend for sure.
Well, how can our viewers do anything to support DelFest and DelFest Lite over the next couple of weeks and months, and what can we do to get people engaged with what you guys are doing?
Well, the DelFest Lite, today we announced the live stream, and as you saw, and you've got those breweries, it'd be great if they just share that with their friends, and they'll get a good taste of DelFest, and hopefully can drive some people into those breweries, and then they want to come buy tickets for the fall. We'll be ready for them, and and they won't regret it. I'm sure there's so many people that come for the first time, and then they don't miss another one because they just realize like Rob said, it's a family reunion, it's a special event, and once you come, you're hooked. So, and then again, and Monday in Cumberland, anybody can come out, and it's a big field out there behind the Fairfield Inn downtown, and anybody can come out and enjoy a free show and get a little glimpse of the McCourys on Memorial Day weekend, as it should be.
Well, there's nothing better than that. For everybody who tuned in this afternoon, thank you. I want to thank Del and Rob for taking the time to join us this afternoon. It was quite a pleasure to have the chance to chat with you both. And I look forward to being able to celebrating with you at DelFest. And I look forward to seeing you, hopefully, at DelFest Lite. I'm going to try to make it out there on Sunday and bring my daughter with me, so that'll be great. Just to kind of wrap everything up, if you're tuning in this afternoon or checking us out in the next couple of days, we would love for you to support a local Maryland brewery. If you don't already have your tickets to DelFest Lite, keep in mind that it will be streamed at 12 breweries here in the state of Maryland. We'll have that list up on our social media starting on Monday. We also plan to have some contests out there for some great DelFest giveaways, and I think that there might be some special stuff out there with some tickets too. So keep your eyes open. We're trying to work on some great ways to keep you all engaged, and thank you for tuning in. Del, Rob, Chris, thank you all very much for joining me this afternoon.
Hey, enjoyed talking to you, Jim.
See y'all soon.
Yes,
See
sir.
you.
Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. Check out marylandbeer.org for all of our Maryland beer updates, and keep your eyes peeled in the next couple of days for some more information regarding all of the negative stuff that's been going on in the industry. We will have more for you in the coming week. Thank you very much.